During his interview with Time magazine when he accepted the Person of the Year award, Donald Trump also made it clear that he is going to listen to nut jobs about what to do regarding the childhood vaccine schedule. And the top nut job, of course, is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Donald Trump's pick to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. In the interview, Donald Trump was asked specifically, are you going to listen to Kennedy and get rid of the childhood vaccine schedule? And here is what Trump said. We're going to have a big discussion. The autism rate is at a level that nobody ever believed possible. If you look at things that are happening, or there's something causing it. When asked if the discussion could result in his administration getting rid of some vaccinations, Trump said, it could if I think it's dangerous, if I think they are not beneficial, but I don't think it's going to be very controversial in the end. He also asked if he thinks childhood autism is linked to vaccines. He said, quote, no, I'm going to be listening to Bobby. The man who for years has been suggesting that there is a link between vaccines and autism, which of course has been completely debunked by every serious doctor and scientist that has looked into it. And of course, Dr. Andrew Wakefield, the man who initially published that report making this claim, was discredited to the point where he lost his medical license because it was complete bullcrap. There is no link. The reason we have more people diagnosed with being on the autism spectrum today is because we didn't have a spectrum, hell, even 30 years ago. We didn't know what to look for. We didn't have it. These kids, back in the 80s and 70s and 60s, were just lumped in with the kids that had, any kind of mental deficiency. But as science evolved, as it does, so too did the diagnostic process. If you go back into some of the earlier versions of the DSM, I know we're on the DSM-5 right now, but if you go back into the earlier versions, they didn't even have it. Like, it wasn't even there. And now it is. Starting in the 4, going on into the 5, and in the 5, it expanded it tremendously. So it's not that more people have autism, it's that we now know what to look for and what classifies as being somewhere on that spectrum. So it's not, again, we're able to recognize it is the difference. Not that more people have it or are developing it, but that we can now recognize it a lot more easily. That's what has happened. But those pieces of fact don't matter to the people who want to say, nope, it's the vaccines. I know I've got no science to back me up, but I'd rather believe a wild conspiracy theory instead of the obvious. It's so insane. And this is going to be what's happening. Trump is actively suggesting that if Bobby tells him, let's get rid of the childhood vaccine schedule, then, all right, fine, whatever, let's do it, get rid of it. And Trump made it clear. Let me reread you his statement so you can pick out the key words that I noticed. It could, when talking about getting rid of some of the vaccines, it could, if I think it's dangerous, if I think they are not beneficial. A man with no scientific training at all is saying, if I think a vaccine is dangerous, I'm getting rid of it. He went to business school, and based on the fact that he refuses to release his transcripts, we can only assume he probably didn't do very well in business school. I mean, hell, you can look at all of his bankruptcies and see he probably didn't do well in business school. And he's going to be taking advice from a man who went to law school. Doesn't have a degree in science, doesn't have a doctorate in microbiology. He's a lawyer. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is a fucking lawyer. He's not a scientist. All these things he talks about, these are not his areas of expertise. He has no formal training in them, but he is telling us to not listen to the people with formal training. And if you don't think that's insane, then there's no help for you. Thousands of children, according to actual doctors, could die from this. Thousands. For every 1,000 children that contracts measles here in the United States, at least one will die. We have already seen measles outbreaks in communities across this country. In areas where the anti-vaccine movement, really picked up steam, measles outbreaks happen, children die. And if we get rid of other vaccines, more children will die. So this decision from two not scientists to disregard science is going to kill our children. If you have young children who are not yet vaccinated, I suggest you do it before these people make these vaccines illegal or take them off the market completely. These vaccines have been around for decades. And sure, are there adverse event reporting? Absolutely. Just like there is with off-the-shelf Tylenol. Some people have bad reactions to things that 99.9% of the population does not have reactions to. My kids have nut allergies. Does that mean that we have to get rid of all nuts because my kids, could die if exposed to it? No, it just means, okay, my kids can't have this. But these people want to make across-the-board claims because a few people had adverse reactions, most of which cleared up pretty quickly. They're misconstruing the adverse event reporting system. They're lumping in things that weren't even adverse events actually related to the vaccines. They're doing that to warp and twist the science to convince you that these things that were apparently safe for 60 years are suddenly no longer safe. If you look at this logically and critically for just half a second, you can see through their BS. Bobby Kennedy has made millions of dollars from his Children's Health Defense Group, which of course spreads skepticism about the vaccine schedules. He's making money off of this crap. And you're going to tell me that we should trust him instead of trusting somebody that actually went to medical school or somebody that actually has a PhD in any form of biology or chemistry that is making these things. Sorry, I'm going to go with the doctors on this instead of the environmental lawyer who's making millions of dollars warning people that, oh no, bad things are happening because a couple people may have experienced a slight side effect, because a couple people developed a headache. Look at those adverse events reports, by the way, in case you've never done it. It ain't what these people are making it out to be. But if we remove these vaccines, there will be deaths. And that blood will be on the hands of Trump and Kennedy. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.